Hello and welcome to another of our World Highways Roundtable discussions on how the digital revolution is transforming life on site for the better. We spoke to three leading experts on machine control technology from Leica, Topcon and Trimble about what will happen next. What will the next stage of the digital revolution look like? Where will the transformation take our industry in the coming decade? It might not be where you expect. Well, let's find out and hear what our key opinion leaders had to say.
A transformation from where we were using stakes and string lines to the what I would call the digital transformation, where we put a digital model in machines and we gave guidance to that. The next transformation, in my view, is much larger. It's moving to a complete solution where we focus on optimizing and automating processes, not just the task. In the machine control area, we focused on just the task of grade control. Really, and the industry's been transitioning in this direction for some time now, right? But really getting to a point where we can truly optimize and automate processes and machines. And this transformation is enabled through, all the big buzzwords we've been talking about for some time: big data, artificial intelligence, machine learning, augmented reality, simulation. All of those items will be the root, I guess, of this next transformation. We have to bring all the data sources together. We can't have the level of fragmentation that exists. So this really requires either an industry standard to be driven by technology players, contractors in the industry, to truly have a standardized interoperability format or solution to deliver a true industry platform. Once you've got that, then you can start to have things like design packages being optimized, up front for how construction could or would be done at the time of constructing. At the moment, it's very serial, and lessons learned often don't get applied to future design or future projects. So with this industry platform, we have the ability to truly optimize designs up front and deliver, all the improvements and efficiencies, but a far greater scale than what we can do today with the little, with the task assistance solutions that exist with machine control and really focused on the earth moving. We can get the benefits across the entire project, every phase of that project, through bringing an industry platform together.
I think what we're looking at is sort of a road to autonomy, which is different steps. This is not something that will go very fast. It will be steps that are happening, maybe sort of fast, but some of them will take some time. And I think we all know that we're doing machine guidance and control today. That's something that we all do. But then we also are building in safety aspects into this, which we call person alert and collision avoidance could be one part in this journey. Then I think we're also looking into semi-automatic solutions as well, depending on the machine, right? Because some machines we have already done semi-auto and auto on for quite a while, but let's take the excavator as an example. Then after that, you have to think, how do you go and protect the vehicles around? Then you need to have vehicle intervention as well, part of that journey. And then this has been mentioned as well previously today. You need to think about remote control, because in this journey you need to have like puzzle pieces along the way to make sure that you can actually get to the full autonomy. But without that, you can't get anywhere if you cannot understand how to remote control the units as well, and of course where you can do it. Then you have to have other sensors on the machine that can bring these things together, as also mentioned I think by Scott, to fuse this together. And then you come into automated work cycles, and in the end, of course, you have several steps here. You can say it's 9 steps, perhaps, if I just simplify it from my thinking at least. And then you will get to that. How fast this will go is also something I don't think we know, but I think we as an industry are responsible to also look at this and drive this together. But we also need to work with OEMs around this, because we are not the only ones in this. We are but we are a technology provider and a technology expert, all of us, I would say, on this call. But we need to work together with the rest in the industry to get to this future that I think we all are thinking about.
I think certainly that the end game and the where we're going, we will arrive where we all see it going. I think some of the entrance steps, as we as we talked about to start our session, the adoption of technology in our industry historically has been a little bit slow to to be kind. And so I think there are several interim steps that will continue to evolve to get to that final arrival at whether it be full autonomy or complete workflow and process connectivity and control. One of the buzzwords at the moment is the digital twins, and really documenting and defining what actually got built compared to what the initial design was. I mean, if any of you guys out there, even building a single family house, you get the plans of what the residence is supposed to be, and after the first 2 weeks of construction, change orders appear and things change and happen. And so one of the exciting things that we all see as an industry is with the data collection tools, both from a hardware and software perspective, being able to document what actually is happening on the job site and keeping a record of that as the project progresses will become more and more a massive benefit to not only to the contractor during the construction phase, but to the owner of the asset after the asset is completed. Documentation from a QA perspective, from a maintenance perspective, being able to deliver a digital twin or an owner's manual for that asset to the owner to operate that asset over its life will become more and more a bigger and bigger benefit and will become more common across all of our industry. It's possible today for a concrete contractor who is doing a floor in a high-rise building, that while the concrete is still wet, that customer can scan the surface of that floor, and while the concrete trucks are still there and the finishing crew is still there, determine whether that floor is within specification in real time. If it's not within specification, they can do the modification and fix the problem right then and there, not have to wait 3 months later when the next subcontractor comes in and realizes, oh, this anchor bolt was in the wrong position, or the floor flatness is not going to be effective for us mounting our 3-story tall warehouse shelving, whatever that is. So having real-time data collection, scanning ability, and clash detection tools, all that type of digital representation of the design becomes more and more valuable as time goes on, and more easy to use. And then lastly, I would say, is having easier and easier exchange of information from the job site. There are hundreds and hundreds of companies out there with different tools, different platforms, and so there are many tools out there. And one of the big challenges is, how do we bring all of the outputs of those different tools into one umbrella that can basically communicate across platforms to enable basically one ecosystem for the customer. Like in our personal lives, the connectivity and the ease of use of all these tools becomes the real driver in the adoption and the usability of the technologies. We're not in this alone. The OEMs, particularly the Tier 1 OEMs, are having a significant impact on a couple fronts. Number one, the fact that they now have offerings for grade control coming from the factory has certainly helped enable the adoption, just because of the messaging and the touches to the marketplace. And I would say they also are looking for help or enhancement of the ability for the positioning technologies to speak across platforms. Most customers have mixed fleets, so the easier we can make it to have a seamless workflow, so that whatever that customer's heavy equipment choice is, he can easily pull up to the job site, turn on his machine, and go to work in whatever environment that particular customer wants to work in. So we're working as a group. It's a slow process, trying to trying to get the ISO people or whoever, and even getting our companies to work together. We've had challenges in the past, but I think we've moved past that to a very large degree. And so that cooperation is happening, and it's never happens fast enough, but that will help.
Yeah, maybe just building on that, I'm wondering if you were going to get to this point as well, is like, hey, it's at the moment with the OEMs and the ISO standard being created for data transfer and interoperability of mixed fleet machines and mixed fleet technology. I would say as we progress with the transformation to more and more automation, then we're going to need open platforms from the OEMs as well, so that a contractor's preference of autonomous technologies can apply across a mixed fleet of machines as well, right? So I think that's the extension of what we're building on at the moment with the ISO standard. It's a journey, as Magnus mentioned, and Magnus, we say that internally all the time, so please you see it as well. There's a lot of people that just think you're going to turn up with an autonomous machine and or autonomous construction site. That's just not going to happen. We're a long way away from it. So it's increasing the levels of automation and assistance, safety, and then therefore efficiencies before we get to that autonomous machine. But a key part of it is the interaction between the technology providers and the machine providers.
All of us are in the same group, so I think this is where we are. This is where the excitement, for me also, I mean, coming from the industry from the beginning, I'm so happy that this is happening, because we need to work for customer ease, right? That has to be our focus, and I think everyone thinks the same, but that is our aim, to make them not struggle with different data formats. I mean, my God, right? We should be further. So ISO will help, and I'm happy that all of us are in it.
So there you go. Open platforms, shared intelligence, and more integration with Tier 1 original equipment manufacturers like Caterpillar, Komatsu, and Volvo CE are going to drive the industry forward at an ever faster pace. It's all coming together as big data, artificial intelligence, machine learning, augmented reality, and simulation become one complete unified solution, says Scott. We're on the road to full autonomy, says Magnus, and digital twins documenting and defining work in real time is going to allow problems to be solved even as they're being created, says Jamie. Thanks for joining us. We do hope that you've enjoyed this snapshot of our World Highways Roundtable series. There are many more to come, so do be sure to follow up with the next one and head over to www.worldhighways.com/videos to catch the whole discussion. See you next time.